After Effects is difficult. That's what I used to think. But after finally dipping my toes into it, I can proudly say that my videos went from this
Wow.
to this.
Wow.
And the best part is that I learned how to do all of this in like a month for absolutely no money whatsoever. That's right, no classes, no paid boot camps. I only use 2 resources and they all cost nothing. Ever since the AMV era of YouTube, I thought that videos made using After Effects were the coolest. I mean, just look at this masterpiece. One day, I had the brilliant idea. Hey, why don't I try to learn After Effects and give myself 1 month to do it? So here's my experience trying to learn Adobe After Effects in 1 month. Is what I would say if I had actually stuck to the plan. Initially, I planned to allocate at least 30 minutes each day to learn After Effects. It didn't even take me 1 whole week to not do that and basically waste all my time. So instead, here's my experience of learning Adobe After Effects in 2 weeks. Before I actually started the process, I asked some advice from someone I knew who was really experienced in the program, KaeVeo. If you don't know who she is, she's an electric VTuber and motion designer. You may have seen her model showcase videos, like for Iron Mouse's punk rock model. Basically, I asked, is it difficult to learn After Effects if you've only had experience in Vegas Pro, a different video editing program which is what I usually use? This is what she answered.
If you're jumping into After Effects with only Sony Vegas experience, I think you'll totally be fine. That's how I learned, and I was actually shocked to see that After Effects was pretty similar to Sony Vegas. I do think if you're jumping into After Effects with 0 editing experience, like no Adobe, no Sony Vegas, not even like Photoshop, I think it's gonna be hard because then you have to learn the fundamentals of like how layers work, how keyframes work, and all that. But overall, Sony Vegas, you're good to go in After Effects.
I was actually pretty intimidated to start learning. But once I received Kay's advice, I legitimately breathed a sigh of relief. I thought, if Kay could do it, I could probably try. My next step was to create a goal for myself, at least something to work towards. This was actually a tip that I had picked up from 𝒂𝒄𝒄's VTuber's models are too expensive, so I learned Live 2D in 7 days video, where he recommended to break down learning new skills into bite-sized and manageable pieces. But since I was, and still am, terrible at organizing and sticking to any plan, I decided to only work towards one overall goal, which is what video do I want to create out of these After Effects skills? Because what's the point of trying to learn something if you don't know what you're going to use it for? I had already offered to create a VTuber model showcase video for my rigger, 𝒂𝒄𝒄, so that made for the perfect goal. Plus, she was super helpful by recording all the clips I needed and even provided me with a rough storyboard so I didn't need to brainstorm what to put in the video. All that was left was to start learning Adobe After Effects. KaeVeo also had really helpful tips on where to start.
The absolute best place to learn After Effects, and where I personally learned, is YouTube. YouTube is free, it's accessible, you can type whatever you want and you'll probably find like 15 tutorials about that one topic or more, and I would recommend it above any of those boot camps and all those other places where you gotta spend money, because you can just find everything for free on YouTube. Watch tutorials, follow along, absorb the knowledge. Don't just watch and do what they do. Actually think about how you can use what you're learning with real-world applications in your own projects. And keep practicing, stay consistent, and you'll be doing amazing things in no time.
I went and typed in After Effects tutorial on YouTube, and I ended up following 2 resources. Number 1, Gareth David Studios playlist, 48 episode free course. Even though Gareth's tutorial playlist was 48 episodes long, I only ended up watching until 11 episodes in. According to the playlist, I basically spent 147 minutes watching his videos, which is about 2.5 hours. Gareth's playlist was very informative and really teaches you how to pick up the program from complete scratch. For a small price, he also provides you with the files he uses in his tutorial, so you can follow along too. But of course I didn't pay for that. His videos were very direct and helped me understand how After Effects works. I feel like I could draw a lot of similarities between After Effects and Vegas Pro just by having the program being explained to me. I think that his playlist is really good for complete beginners too, because it goes through each step one by one and reminds you what you've learned in previous episodes, so you're not too overwhelmed when he teaches you something new. Number 2, Ben Marriott's I'll Teach You After Effects in 60 Minutes. Like, Gareth's videos were useful, but since I was so early along in the playlist, it was just showing me simple examples, rather than something that was more put together. What I found great about Ben's video was that since it was teaching some actual effects, you could easily apply it to your own videos if you wanted to. However, Ben's video is actually a first lesson from his 9-week motion foundation course, but I didn't go for that. His free introductory lesson actually teaches a lot in that 60-minute period. Plus, he also provides the project files for free, so you can recreate what he does in a video very easily. That being said, his video is more for someone who has at least the basic grasp of After Effects or video editing in general. He does go over what you need to click and such, but it's more fast-paced, and I think it's easier to understand if you've already gone through like a basic tutorial like Gareth's videos. I felt confident after watching the videos. It must be as easy as it looks, right? Wrong! I was completely and utterly wrong. Even though I already have years of experience in Vegas Pro, using After Effects felt so foreign and so clunky to me. I tried to do things, but ultimately I ended up really confused. But I knew it wasn't the program's fault. I just wasn't used to it yet. However, since I already had the rough storyboard that was provided by 𝒔𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, all I had to do is replicate it. At first, I didn't care about the backgrounds and such. Instead, I've kind of just focused on putting the clips together in sequence. Sometimes I use masks, sometimes I use edging. But all of the times, there were tons of keyframes, just like Vegas Pro. Within the first 2 hours, I managed to cobble together 30 seconds worth of rough clips. This is where I stopped recording my progress and ended up putting 100% of my attention on making the video. But even though I only needed to bring the rough storyboard to life, I actually spent hours and hours and hours just polishing everything. There were just a few scenes where I didn't like how it turned out, so I spent so much time just shifting clips and changing scenes. And whenever I wanted to do something, but I didn't know how to, I just searched it. At one point, I wanted like a glitch transition effect, so I looked it up on YouTube and I followed some random guy's tutorial.
Welcome to video editing, everyone. That's kinda how we just do it.
After many hard days of work and just exporting and redoing the video again and again, which in hindsight is probably just a me thing, I was finally happy with the final product. I quickly uploaded it and sent it over to my rigger 𝒔𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 to make sure everything looked good. She gave it the okay, but even right now, I feel like I could have done a lot better, and my experience is only over a month now. But here's a little snippet of the showcase, which is my very first After Effects video. I would say the showcase took me about 2 weeks or so to make, including the time to watch tutorials and just to work on the project. If you want to see the final version of the showcase video, there'll be a link to it in my description because it's uploaded on my rigger's channel. But before you go check that out, I've got a closing message from KaeVeo.
For just learning in 2 weeks of like no knowledge of After Effects at all, I think the showcase turned out great. Like, I think it matches the music, all the colors look great. It shows off the important parts of the model that's rigged. Imagine what you can do in like 2 years if you just keep on doing this and applying it to different projects and such. Like, it only goes uphill from here. So as I said, just stay consistent, keep practicing, and you'll be making amazing things.
So yeah, if you're thinking about trying After Effects, go ahead, check out some of the resources I use. I'll also be linking those in the description. If you got any questions, comment them down below. And if you're interested in seeing my After Effects skills after only 1 month of progress, I've got a Rickroll paint shilling cover which I made entirely in After Effects.